players are allowed now to hold passive, non-controlling interest in sports betting or fantasy companies, but are limited to less than 1%. They can also endorse those same like sports betting and fantasy companies. Ashley, what you think about that? Isn't that a pretty cool opportunity now for the
about to
athletes?
get messy in Miami, you know what I'm saying?
For real.
Man, this just makes the NFL look bad to me.
It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting, but I also think it's going to be borderline problematic.
Yeah.
Especially when it starts working in favor of the athlete. It's only time before the NBA is like, I don't like how this is. I don't like how this is looking. Also, there was another part that active players can have stake in other teams as long as it's not their team. So, like, hypothetically speaking, you could play for the Lakers and have a stake in the Clippers, which is very problematic.
That
But
is
what
very
happens
weird.
if you get traded to that team?
Well, that's my question.
Oh,
Like,
right.
does
That's
that,
actually a good
if
point.
you're able to have stake in other teams as an active player, as long as it's not your team, doesn't that affect like the trade market,
It does,
free
right?
agency? Like, what stops you from being traded to a team you have ownership in? And do I now have to give up my ownership? There's just a lot of things in there. I feel like this is a little, I don't know. I'm not trying to stop no money from flowing in somebody's pocket, but this seems a little, I don't know what CJ was thinking when he came up with this one.
All right, you're a player, Stack. Are you taking advantage of these new opportunities that the NBA will be allowing you for?
Man, that's bullshit. They should not be doing that, bro.
Yeah.
They should not be doing that. It should never be a time where you playing for another team and you can worry about making money with another team.
Right. Yeah.
Huh?
That's weird. Yeah.
That don't make sense. That
That's what
don't
I'm
make
saying,
sense.
It doesn't.
Like that goes back to the whole stuff, you know, back when they caught those college players making deals with people and tanking games, missing shots on purpose. Like all that shit can come into play.
Right.
With letting guys, like it's just too much. Players should never be able to bet on games, make money off other teams. They should be focused on the money they make from the team that they work for and winning games. That's too much to worry about. Half these players now can't even chew gum and tie their shoes at the same time, let alone being able to gamble, play on one team, and even half of them don't even want to play.
Yeah.
Most of them want to just get the money and sit on the sideline. You know, they sitting out 20 games like. It's too much shit in the game now. It's not about basketball, and it's ruining the competition. It's just too much other stuff instead of just competing and playing basketball. I hate it, bro. I hate it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Also, I
agree.
mean, 1%.
They making enough money.
1% ownership. I know some people are like 1%. That's it. 1% of like $1 billion is a lot. Like,
Yeah,
think
it's a
about it
couple
this
mil.
way. I'll put this into perspective. Flo Rida had a 1% stake in Celsius before Celsius went public.
Yep.
He was an early investor. 1% stake in Celsius. When they went public, he made, what was it, like $300 million? Something
thought it
like
was
that.
90 million.
Sheesh.
That's a lot.
What was it?
I thought it was 90 million.
$100 million?
I mean, that's still a lot.
So think about it this way. You have a 1% stake in a sports book, right?
82.6.
82.6 is what he made. So let's round it to 90.
It's a good flip.
So if you have a 1% stake in a sports book, think about it in terms of an investment. The more money that sports book makes, the larger it grows, the bigger the return on the investment. So 1% of $1 billion is a lot of cash. So what would stop, not saying all players would do this, but what would stop players from making sure that their sports book is the most profitable? How are you the most profitable? Is when you are able to not have to pay out a lot of bets, right? So you get a lot of bets in, and how I believe it works is the most profitable sports books are the ones that get a lot of people placing bets, but they don't have to give a lot of that money back because people aren't winning. It's like a casino. Casinos make money.
House wins.
The house wins. The house always wins.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
if you are making sure the house always wins, that increases the profitability of the sports book that you have an investment in, which ultimately then increases your investment because that's going to be your return. It could get a little messy, especially when we're talking about players who aren't making Donovan Mitchell money, who aren't making LeBron James money. What if you're a guy, you know, the eighth man on the bench
on his cell phone making bets.
Yeah, like what if you're not making that much money? What if you're a player who's only, and I put this in quotes, only making a couple $1 million and you really don't know where your next team is going to be?
Right.
You're a journeyman. What if you're how does that stop you from throwing games? How does that stop referees from throwing games? How does that stop you in cahoots with referees from throwing games?
And we've seen it all, Ashley. We've seen it all before.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. All of this endorsement around sports betting, it's what they're trying to protect the integrity of the game, but it's gonna hurt it. It's gonna hurt it.
It's ruining it.
Yeah, we're gonna see it ruin it in the NFL and in the NBA. And I have a theory too with another detail that we have coming up here. I'll save it for that. But yeah, sports betting, I don't know, man. I'd say it's taking a hold on a lot. But next detail: players must be on the floor for 20 minutes in at least 65 games to be eligible for honors, including NBA MVP and all NBA teams. What are your thoughts on this stat?
Love it.
Oh man,
I think it should be more.
Yeah, 65.
It should be more.
Yeah.
Thank you,
It should be like
Jesus.
75, man.
For real.
The elite of the
man,
elite.
for
you know?
real.
Yeah, it's about time.
I come from an era we took pride in playing 82.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We tried our best to play 82 games, and we wasn't even close. We wasn't even nominated for none of those awards.
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted to play 82 games for, just to pat ourselves on the back. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad they putting something in there, because a lot of these guys, they're making a lot of money, and they need to earn it. A lot of these guys are sitting on the side, and I ain't hating on their pockets, but I want to see y'all play. You know what I'm saying? We was a lot of guys that played the game in different eras. You know what I'm saying? For them to be able to get the money they get in the day. A lot of guys, played with bad shoes, didn't have trainers. Then you got guys, that came in that was fighting to play 82. Yeah. Some of the stars in the game that was playing 82. So just appreciate that and appreciate where the game has grown, but also appreciate the game the same way the guys did before you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ashley, you have anything to add there?
No, I love it. I mean, I'm tired of seeing, guys be eligible for all NBA teams and they only played half a season.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Then it becomes a popularity vote.
I wish I could have graduated college only going half a year. Like, it's not how it works. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just like clock in, clock out when you want to. And I think load management has become a little bit insane. I think that in its core, there's benefits to it, especially when you're on a team that maybe relies heavily on one player. But I feel like it's become just egregiously used. Like, you have a paper cut. Oh, he's not going to play today's game. Like, it's like, come on. It's being overused. And I think that's where it becomes problematic. And it's unfortunate. I think back to what Kobe Bryant said, rest in peace, Kobe Bean Bryant. And they asked, and when Vanessa was speaking at his memorial service, and we've heard Kobe say this before, but she reiterated it. And she said that, Kobe would tell her, when she asked him, why are you playing in today's game? Like, you're hurt. Like, he'd be iced up all over his body on the sidelines. And he would say, I'm thinking about all the kids who saved up their money to come see me play. I can't let them down. That this may be the only opportunity they have to see me play. And they saved all year for this ticket. Who would I be to not play because of a sore knee or because, my back doesn't feel right today? And I think that dedication has been lost a little bit because load management has made it acceptable for players at the slightest inconvenience to say, oh, I'm not playing. And I'm not saying if you're majorly injured, you should play. I'm not saying that because that causes other issues. But we have guys who aren't playing for sore backs. Everybody's back is sore. Yeah. And when you hit 30, your back is sore every single day.
Every day you wake up.
You wake up and your back is sore. Like, it gets a little frustrating to see the quality of the game deteriorate because of load management. And on top of that, you'll have some games where they're like marquee games, and it's the Lakers versus the 76ers, and it's the B squads playing each other. Nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah.
I've been a victim of that, actually.
That's
I've
why
gone
Kobe's
to a
champion,
game.
though.
Right.
That's different. Like, that whole vibe, like, that's why people cry when they win championships, right? That's why people hold that trophy up and cry and shed real tears, because you can sit there and say, the pain was worth it. I know how I felt. People don't understand the fingers, the broken fingers, popping them back, the knees, all that. Like, I went through all that for my goal, and I reached it. I achieved it. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand and not willing to go through that. You know what I mean? And that's why people cry, because it's worth it. You know what I mean? To be the champion, it's worth it playing hurt. It's worth it playing with a sore ankle. You know, not wanting to play the next day, not getting no sleep, whatever you got going at home. It's worth putting that all beside and going out there and playing the game. So, you know, when you're a champion and if you experience that, and if you really want to be the best at what you do at least one time in your life, then you'll understand that.
I mean, think about Jamal Murray when he won that championship just a few weeks ago.
Perfect example.
Yep, it is.
Why it was so heavy for him. I mean, this is somebody who a season ago couldn't walk.
Right.
I mean, they played that montage of him, and he said there were nights that he was kept up at night, 0 sleep, because of the pins and needles he felt in his leg and just the severe pain. And he, you know, at one point thought that the Denver Nuggets were going to give up on him because he was, quote, damaged goods. I mean, he fought back from a major injury and as a world champion. Think of Klay Thompson, 2 back-to-back injuries. What was it, an ACL and an Achilles?
Achilles, yeah.
2 major injuries, and I believe the Achilles happened, or the ACL happened in him just practicing in the gym.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was ACL first, then an Achilles.
Like, think about coming back from back-to-back major injuries that some people would end their career and becoming a champion. I mean, it's that dedication that makes it worth it when you finally reach that finish line. And it's just unfortunate that we have seen something like load management, which at its core was constructed to relieve your star player here and there from exhausting them, so become postseason that they were healthy and ready to go, has now just become a free-for-all. And anytime you just don't want to play a game or you're on a back-to-back, it's like, load management, I'm cool. I'm going to sit here.
Yeah, or I got this new fit.
And sis, this was crazy, though. 2 months before the season started, we had Murray on the show. And he was not confident at all. I'm not ready. I'm playing one-on-one, but I'm not confident, not ready. And he come out and win the championship after 2 years of being off from injury. So I understood those tears. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy they pulled it off. They definitely deserve it.
Hell yeah.
Me too. Absolutely. Well, listen, on the note of load management, right, that leads me into this next detail.
Are we talking about Kawhi? Is this a Kawhi topic?
No. It's the next detail. It's the next detail in the new CBA deal. So now, Stack, I don't know if you heard of this, but the NBA will now hold an in-season tournament. So I'll give you kind of like the breakdown of how this works. All 30. He already got it. Listen, there's a whole bunch I really want to, a whole bunch of layers I want to peel back here.
Is working. Right?
Yeah, because I honestly think there's not much really the NBA gets out of this, right? So all 30 teams will be eligible for this in-season tournament. And what they'll do is before the NBA season, they'll designate certain regular season games leading up to this in-season tournament as games that will that'll be meaningful to the seeding of this in-season tournament. The top 8 teams in that seeding will participate in this in-season tournament, and there's basically 3 rounds, including the championship. So those 8 teams, those 8 teams that go through, like the first round, there'll be 2 matchups in the second round, and then the winner, will be the winner. Stack.
I don't understand this. Like, I don't.
Can I see a bracket?
Can I get a simplified version of this, sir? Because I'm confused. So
where did I lose you? I could still walk you through it.
You lost me at the beginning.
At the very beginning.
Like, I don't understand.
I mean, listen to me.
I don't want to be found.
I'm confused. So throughout the season, there are 3 tournaments being played, with 1 being the NBA Finals. Is that what are we? I'm confused.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's going to end up being. So it's the in-season tournament, like I said.
So it's 3 in-season tournaments technically, because you said there's 3 tiers.
No, 1. There's 1. There's the tournament. Look, the tournament is actually, they're going to designate certain games out of the regular season, right, as games that will count to the seeding for that tournament. That one in-season
What's the tournament for? Is what I'm confused by. Is it the championship tournament?
This is just for. I don't know. Maybe like a trophy.
What is this?
I don't know.
You got to tell her the prize.
In-season trophy.
It's for kicks and giggles.
Like, what do you win? What do you win?
Literally.
Do you win a ring?
This is
$500,000.
This is the incentive. So the winners win $500K. The losing team of the in-season tournament championship gets $200K. The losers of the semifinal get $100K, and the losers of the quarterfinal win $50K. So if you make it into the in-season tournament, even if you lose, you at least get $50K. So money really is the incentive.
Okay,
Stack.
First of all,
postseason
this
seeding,
is
nothing.
not AAU.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not that.
Right.
This is not an invitational. This is the NBA. to be serious. Second of all, so what's the bragging rights here? You win the tournament, but you miss the playoffs? Is that what I'm getting at? Right. Oh, yeah, we won the in-season tournament, but 1, 2, 3 Cancun. Yeah. I don't understand what this is for.
Right.
What is the reason?
Well, look, and what I wanted to point out.
What's
mid-season NBA champ.
Because, look, we're here, and we're coming from the load management conversation, right? And what I'm thinking is, because like I said, they're going to designate these games that count towards the seeding.
Corey
defending this hard.
You can explain this to me 100 different ways. It doesn't make it any less dumb.
No, what I'm like, no, but does that not devalue regular season games also for teams? It's
stupid.
It devalues the whole season.
It's dumb.
The whole season.
You winning an in-season tournament, a fake tournament. Yeah. Like it's AAU.
Just to still not make the playoffs.
Just to not make the playoffs doesn't mean anything. We're playing for championships. We're playing for rings, not cash.
What's $50K to someone making $10 million a year?
My point exactly.
Right.
And regular season is supposed to be the time where your team is building chemistry,
right?
Getting on the same page, becoming a band of brothers, playing for each other, learning how to be selfless, being on the string to get to the point to where, okay, bam, you may have 1 or 2 at playoff break that's in the All-Star game, bam. Then your team's supposed to come back together and try to stay healthy and keep building to become a playoff team. That's what the regular season is supposed to be for. It's not supposed to be extra tournaments and all that shit. You really gonna see guys not playing because the guys that's been in the league, I guarantee you, they are focused on the same goal that's been their goal since they came in the league.
Right.
Staying healthy all regular season and playing and turning up the level, try to get to the NBA championship. You're not gonna have not too many star guys that's gonna be thinking about, oh man, I'm getting ready for this tournament.
In November.
Right.
It's the Turkey Bowl.
Yeah, no, that's honestly what it is, right, at this point.
You got the Turkey Bowl, you got the Christmas Bowl, you got the Valentine's Day Bowl, the MLK Bowl.
This would be good for the B-roll players. The money, the games.
Well, so look, remember earlier I said I had a theory on how I think sports betting is actually related to this, because what I think the NBA was looking to achieve was some competitive basketball at the middle of the season, right? And what is that gonna, make people more inclined to do? Bet on those games because they're meaningful games. You know what I'm saying? So I think again, we said earlier, sports betting is kind of just ruining basketball. That's my theory. I think they want to make it competitive all through, or they, this is their thought that this is the thought that they can make this more competitive.
You know what, Corey?
You know what?
You got a point.
Yeah,
but it's still bullshit.
It is, man. That's how they run these leagues, though. That's how they run these leagues.
That's how they do, bro.
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's the sports.
I don't see the reason.
Do you like it, Corey? Because you seem like you like it.
Because look, I'm somebody. I'll be honest, Stack, and the reason why I make this point is because I'm actually a sports bettor, and what that did was make me watch more games. It made me watch more NBA games.
Then it worked.
And what it especially come playoff time and NBA finals, those are meaningful games. You know what to expect. Those games are slightly more predictable. Those are the games you're going to be more willing to bet on. And that's why I make that point, because in these in-season tournaments, people are going to be relying on these teams are going to be relying on their star players. And there might be guys like to the point you guys have been making, maybe the guys at the end of the roster, maybe those teams that are the 7th, 8th seed, those guys might feel the incentive to, gain a little extra money. So they're going to be playing hard, right? But that's the point I make. I think that's going to be an opportunity for bettors to really make a lot of money in those in-season tournaments. So that's my theory.
The league is now not worrying about the players being in shape, but they're worrying about the bettors being championship shape come playoff time.
No, they're worrying about the bettors.
I just don't, and also I think that's I literally think that's what this whole thing was about. Making basketball, regular season basketball, more interesting for the casuals and for the sports bettors, because true NBA fans don't have an issue with the NBA season. Brandon always says he doesn't start watching until April. That's not a real basketball fan. Yeah. True basketball fans are watching from the start of the season to the end of the season. Yeah. You may not hit every single game. Obviously, it's impossible to watch every single game, especially when there are nights there's 12 games on at one time. Right. But you're watching in some capacity multiple teams throughout the course of the multiple games on any given night from beginning to end. All this did was a way to bring in more viewership for people who aren't casual watchers.
Yeah.
who are casual watchers, and to make more incentive for people to want to bet on the games. It doesn't really, I personally don't think it adds to the quality of the game. It may add to the entertainment factor of the game, but it doesn't, I don't see what this does, because again, we're not talking about a tournament that has playoff ramifications. Right. Like, we're talking about an in-season tournament where the end goal is money for guys who are making
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, $50,000. Some guys pay that in fines every season.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like $500,000. Something Draymond pays that in fines every season.
That might be one game for Draymond.
That's one game for Draymond in fines. Like, it doesn't.
You go hard for that $500,000 in one game. Tear your leg up. Your team will have a chance to win the championship. Was it worth it?
Right.
See, that's a crazy perspective there, right? Like, yeah, come on, man. It doesn't really help anything.
And what good is winning that AAU tournament if you go home in the postseason?
1, 2, 3 Cancun.
1, 2, 3 Cancun. It's like, yeah, I'll take my check. I'm heading to Tulum. I'll take it in pesos.
No, for real.
Not a good idea, man.
All right, listen.